Okay, what's up, you guys? It's the Hill family. We've got Brooksy, we've got Toph, and
who else?
And Ace. Ace is over there, but I just mean in the shot we had us three.
Nope, you already forgot about Ace.
I didn't forget about Ace. Okay, but today we are going. Oh, Topher wants to show you him. He's so freaking cute. Okay, don't wake him up though.
You won't. Oh, he's awake.
Oh.
Oh.
Are you back asleep?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we are going to be talking about my birth story today. This has literally been the most requested video. And yeah, I mean, I think I love watching people's birth story videos. I think birth and like labor and everything is the coolest thing ever. So we are just gonna talk about my story. And I have Topher in here because I feel like a lot of the details, I don't know. Like I was there, I was totally with it, but I think there's some things I probably forget. So, and because it's fun to have him in the video and get his like perspective on all things birth.
I'm an expert in it now.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. First, I guess we can just like talk about how it went down. So I had talked about it before on Instagram that I was having high blood pressure, and I had to like go into labor and delivery. Well, I said that word, labor and delivery, a couple times to get monitored. So that was already like something that was like kind of an issue. And then we went in for my 37-week appointment. And I was actually only 36 weeks and 6 days for my 37 week. So we went in, my blood pressure was very high. It was 160 over 90. And my doctor did not like that at all. He was like, that is way too high. And he's like, we're gonna check if you've dilated at all, because at my 36-week appointment, I hadn't dilated. Like I didn't dilate at all. So he's like, okay, we're gonna check if you're dilated. And I was like, okay, like thinking I was just gonna go home after. So he checked me and I was a 2, which is pretty cool because the week before I was nothing. And then he just like looked at me and looked at Topher and he was like, you guys are gonna have this baby today. And we were like, what? Are you serious? So yeah, I don't even, like in that moment, he's like talking to me and he's so calm. Like my doctor was awesome. He's like, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna get your stuff, you're gonna get dressed, and you're gonna just go straight over to labor and delivery. And then I'm gonna be over in 30 minutes and I'm gonna break your water. And he's just like talking and I'm like, what? Like we had our stuff packed, but didn't have it with us. And so we were kind of just like, kind of freaking out. But do you remember when he left the room and it was just me and you in the room and we were like,
you just started bawling.
I just started bawling. Like I was like, it was like the same emotions I found out when I was pregnant. It was like happiness, like so scared. Like I was so scared. And I was mostly like nervous because he was like 36 weeks and 6 days, or like he wasn't full term, so I just was like so worried that I wanted him to be okay. And then it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm about to give birth. And so it was just like so many emotions. But Topher just was so cute and so calm, and he was like, he's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be okay. And he tried to keep me calm. when I was a little bit of a mess. Okay, so after that, so then we get dressed, we get in the car. I have a little moment in the car. And then we had a cute little moment in the car. And then I called my mom. I called Lindsay and I was like, you guys, it's happening today. I'm having my baby today, which is insane. So then we get checked into the hospital. So if I miss anything, just tell me. We get checked into the hospital, get us a room. They're like, here's your gown. And I'm like, what the heck? I put on the gown and we just are just chilling and kind of waiting for my doctor to come over and break my water. And so then, so actually they started me on Pitocin.
Yeah, they started you on Pitocin, like...
Before they broke my water or after?
Before.
Okay, so nurses came in, they hooked me up to an IV, and then they started me on Pitocin. And yeah, so I did that, and honestly, I felt totally fine. Like, I felt great. And then he came in, I have like a timeline on my phone. So we got to the hospital around 1 p.m. and then he came in around like 1:30ish and he broke my water. And when he broke my water, I had already progressed to like a 2.5, 3. So in the short amount of time, it was like
they said
half.
a 3.
It was like a 3.
A half is like, they can't tell.
I don't know.
I just said 3. They just said 3. You were a 3.
Okay, so I was a 3 by the time he broke my water, which was good because I was progressing on my own. And then I was hooked up to Pitocin, and I was just straight chilling. And Topher, we needed our stuff, like all our bags. And so Topher went home and got all of our stuff.
All of it.
And
brought our whole house practically to the hospital.
It was, yeah. I wish we would have had our stuff in the car already.
I didn't have any of my stuff packed.
Yeah, that was the thing. Topher didn't have any of his clothes packed, so he had to do that. And then I had a lot of things that I wanted, like camera stuff and clothes and makeup and my curling iron and just like...
Literally, like, she had like 5 bags.
Yeah. Did I use any of it?
No.
No.
You didn't. You changed into one gown.
I know. Whatever. But yeah, so Topher went home, grabbed all the stuff, and then while I was there, I started feeling contractions, and it was kind of just like period cramps, very like mild, and I was like, okay, sweet.
Wait.
What?
Forgot about the putting mat.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We got the putting mat because they told us it was going to be 18 to 24 hours.
Okay, so they maybe don't know what a putting mat is. So
just like a putting mat.
Like a golf putting mat.
mat.
Topher brought that to the hospital because he was like, well, people said it was gonna be like, the nurses said it would be like 18 to 24 hour labor. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, that's besides the point. So he's home. I'm starting to feel contractions. I'm like, ooh, these are kind of getting uncomfortable, but I'm okay. And I wanted Topher there for the epidural because, I don't know, I just wanted him there. So by the time Topher was like, okay, I'm leaving the house, I called and was like, okay, I want the anesthesiologist to come in and do the epidural. And they're like, okay, she just got called into a C-section. She'll be like 45 minutes. And I was like, perfect, he'll get here in 25. I can do 20 more minutes or 45 minutes and I'll be good. And then Topher got to the room, and that's where literally they were so painful. I think they turned me up to like a 12 on Pitocin. The highest you can go is like 24 or something, and I was on a 12, I think, at that point. And he was in there, and I was in so much pain. Like,
yeah, you did not look
like
you're having fun.
No,
and it was
so
like contractions like literally every minute.
Yeah, I was having contractions every minute, and they would like, yeah, they were so painful. And then so I called and I was just like, hey, any word on the anesthesiologist? I'm dying. Just kidding, I wasn't dying, but I was in a lot of pain. And they're like, she just got called into another C-section, so she's gonna be another like 30 minutes. And when they said that to me, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I kind of wish, that's one thing, I kind of wish I would have gotten the epidural as soon as Topher left. Just because, like, I knew I wanted it, and...
Well, they kind of made it seem like I didn't know it was like a catheter where they could just keep it going for as long as you need it.
Yeah.
They kind of made it seem like, oh, like if you started it early, it could stop working later on, where it was like, no, they could have just pushed
But I
it for
think
longer.
too, I don't think they thought I was gonna progress
that quickly.
So
like,
yeah, that's the next part. So, so I was waiting for the epidural and just in so much pain. Like literally, I was in so much pain. And how many times have I said that I was in so much pain?
Wait, were you in pain?
So then she comes in and it was literally like the best day ever. I was like, thank you. And I wasn't even nervous to get the epidural because I was so excited about getting it. And then, yeah, the epidural went really good. She was awesome. I had a full-blown contraction while she was in my spine.
Yeah,
And
seemed fun.
it was not fun. I was squeezing Topher's hands so hard. The nurse told me I needed to relax. But yeah, so the epidural went really good. Like, only took her one time.
Okay.
So yeah, she did it first time. It was great. It started working and I literally felt on cloud 9. I was just like, I feel so good. And the thing I liked about my epidural is I could feel the pressure, but it wasn't pain. So I knew when I was having contractions, and I could also feel like I could my legs still kind of moved and worked a little bit. Like they were numb, but I could feel things, which I liked. So then let's see. So I got my epidural and so they checked me after I got my epidural and I was at a 5. So I had progressed myself to a 5, which I think is pretty
A
cool.
5 at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, so I got my epidural around 5. And then, yeah, so after I got that, they're like, okay, you can kind of just sit and chill. Let us know if you need anything. And I was just like, okay. So we just sat there, hung out. Topher ate food. I couldn't eat food. And we were just chilling. And then all of a sudden, it was hour and a half later, I was like, I am feeling so much pressure in my butt. And I had heard this before, that when you feel like you're ready to push, you'll feel a lot of pressure in your butt. Okay, so I started to feel a lot of pressure in my bum, and I had heard from people that means that you're ready to push. And I'm like, there is no way. I literally was a 5 an hour and a half ago. There's no way. But I just kept telling Topher, I'm like, I feel so much pressure. He's like, well, just call in the nurse and she can check you. And if you're not, then whatever. So I called in the nurse, and I feel like when I told her, I was like, I feel like I'm dilating. I'm feeling a lot of pressure in my bum. She was kind of like, okay, yeah, I can come check you. You haven't progressed. And so then she came in, she checked me, and as soon as she checked, she was like, oh yeah. And I was like, what? And I was a 9.5. So I went from a 5 to a 9.5 in an hour and a half, which was insane. And it was great because I didn't feel any of it except for that bum pressure, which, yeah, was really interesting. And I was like, hey, look at me. But then, yeah, so she was like, okay, so we're gonna have you just she's like, you're really close. You're what is it, effaced? She's like, you're totally effaced, but we're gonna have you.
She just said rest and descent. Just let baby
just,
kind of come down by himself.
and just chill in that spot for a while, which I was like, great, okay. And so then,
But it still wasn't. It was only
an hour,
you started pushing it
7:30ish.
yeah, so it was only 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
Well,
or 45 maybe.
It wasn't even that.
I don't even know. I don't remember the time.
Because
it was 6:30, and then
it's 6:30 or 7 when you were 9.5, but 7:30 is when
okay.
you
So
started.
it was 6:50, and I was 9.5. And okay, so and then I started pushing at 8. So it was an hour. They probably had me 45 minutes to an hour. So then, so yeah, they had me rest and descend, whatever, which I literally was just sitting there. But I was literally feeling so much pressure. I'm like, is he going to fall out? Little did I know. So then the nurse comes in. She's like, okay, you're at a 10. We're going to start pushing. And that was a crazy feeling. I was like, I'm about to, it was really weird. So then we did some practice pushes, and then we started pushing for real. And literally like 10 minutes in, you could see his head. And
you could see like his hair.
You could see his hair.
His little spiky hair sticking out.
I know. I mean, he has freaking awesome hair, so of course it's sticking out. But yeah, so 10 minutes in, you could see his head. And she's like, oh my gosh, like you can see his head. And to me, in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, he's coming soon. Like this is gonna be awesome. And then I pushed for 3 hours. It was like 2.5 hours. 3 hours.
Well,
it was like 2:45.
No, it was like... I think our timeline's off because you said 8 o'clock, which then he was born at 10:20, which would be 2 hours and 20 minutes. So our timeline like is a little off.
It's
but I know
a little
you were
off.
pushing closer to like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
timeline before is kind of messed up.
Either way, I was pushing for a long time. And it was crazy. Like he just wouldn't, he was just stuck in my pelvic bone. My pelvic floor. I don't know. He would, so when I would push, he would go down. As soon as I'd stop pushing, he would like retract back up. And so we were pushing for a long time. I was exhausted.
We had The Office on to entertain us.
Yeah, the freaking Office was on the TV. I'm like, why are we watching The Office? But it was like so much more chill than I thought. Like we're pushing and then we'd stop pushing and then just like my nurse would ask me a question and we would just talk and then we'd go and then we'd stop and then
It's like I never knew that like you would push during contractions and then like you had like just a hangout period in between. Like
where you're just like
you make it,
for the next
everything
one.
makes it seem like it's just like one big long pushing session until the baby's out, where it's like push, then you get to sit for a couple of minutes.
I mean, usually it's only around like an hour at
we
most.
watched like could have watched like 3 or 4 episodes of The Office.
I can't believe I pushed for that long. Oh yeah, it was exhausting, but I just kept like, I was just so excited to meet him that it just like kept pushing me, and I feel like I had a lot of adrenaline. But then I threw up one time during labor, and then I got a fever during labor. But other than that, during pushing, but other than that, it was pretty good. So then, so my nurse didn't want to call in my doctor until he was actually like engaging and staying down when I was pushing. So, once that happened, she called him in, and it was so crazy. I like remembered looking at my doctor and being like, okay, so what's about to happen? And he was like, you're just about to get your baby out. And I was like, okay, let's do this. And so then we started pushing, and I think, how many pushes did I do with him? 3? So I was doing...
You're doing 3 pushes
for 10 seconds each.
During your contraction.
During my contractions.
I think you only...
So I did 3 sets of those, I think.
With him.
Yeah, with him. So he came in and, I started pushing, and it was just getting a little bit more painful, which was weird because I hadn't felt pain, I felt pressure. And so when I was feeling the pain, it was kind of freaking me out, and I was like, I think I'm feeling a little bit more than I want to be feeling.
Oh, you just hit your face.
Oh, Nuggie. You okay? We're almost done. So then we started pushing, and it was like the last push. I mean, Topher remembers this more because I have tried to block it out of my brain. But he was like, he looked at me, he's like, you are getting your baby out during this push. And I was like, yes,
during this
I am.
next set of contractions, basically.
Yeah. So I started pushing, and literally all I remember is just like, it hurt so bad. And it was not pressure pain. It was full on like pain. And all I remember is like shooting back and like kind of like resisting the push because it hurt so bad. And then I don't even remember.
But the doctor was grabbing him no matter what.
And got him out. So
he was coming out.
Yeah. So he got him out. And then as soon as he came out, he wasn't crying. So it was a little bit of like panic for me, because that's the first thing you want to hear. Your baby like kind of like make a noise or scream or cry or something. And he wasn't doing anything, but they put him up on me. And I was looking at him, but I was just so worried about him. I was like, okay, make a sound, make a sound. And he wasn't making a sound. So they took him to the...
he had like made a couple, like...
just like little ones, but they were like, these aren't...
It was kind of on and off.
Yeah, they're like, these aren't great ones. Like, they wanted like a good, like, solid scream. So they took him over to the little place.
Yeah, just like a little...
The bin. What? No.
Little basket.
Like station.
Station
You know what I'm
thingy.
talking about. And did like the suction thing and everything. And then he started crying good. And then they put him on my chest. And they're like, usually this helps. And they put him on my chest. And he like regulated. And he was great. And they had to bring in a NICU team because he was technically premature.
He was literally like an hour and a half
Hour and a
from
half.
being full term.
Yeah, so they had to bring in the NICU team just in case. But he ended up being so good. He was so strong. He was breathing great. He was a freaking champ. And yeah, that's how he came into our lives. And it was the craziest thing in the whole entire world. So we had our birth filmed, and I can't wait to watch that because I feel like I was so in the zone of like pushing, getting him out. Is he okay? That I didn't really get to, I don't know. Like, I'm just excited to see how it all happened. And yeah, I'm so excited. But yeah, that's kind of how it all went down. I guess, babe, what was your thought on the whole thing? Was it as expected, or was it different, or like what?
It was way different. But I kind of like talked about how it just like it's a little more chill than like you expect it to be.
Totally.
But I had no idea what to expect just because it was like, I don't know, everything was kind of new. But like going in, like I knew I didn't know anything, so it wasn't like I was like surprised or like caught off guard. It was just kind of like go with the flow on all of it.
Yeah.
And you're in good hands, so just kind of let
them help you.
Yeah,
or like,
let them kind of guide it all.
Yeah, which they did. They did a really good job.
It was weird though meeting him because it was like so after he's born and then like they put him over by the little station again and we're like cleaning him off, and I'm standing by Jensen and it was like she's like go over to him and it
was so like Topher looked like he not like you were in shock but a little just like
I just felt lost.
Like he was just like and I looked, I'm like, go over to him because he was over like getting all his measurements, and it was like and then he like looked like he like snapped out of it and was like, oh, and then like walked over. It is freaking crazy that you like I knew him and I loved him, but we didn't know him until he like came.
But even then it feels just like a little stranger. Like
yeah, he's just a little stranger, but like obviously you love him so much. But it was so I was like, Toph, go over there, and he was like, oh yeah.
But then even that, it's like then you're like, can I touch him? Like how does this work?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So a lot of these I answered like, did you get an epidural? Yes, I did. I didn't go into labor. Obviously, I was induced. Where did the middle name Joshua come from? So that's my dad's first name. So we did it after my dad. Yes, I had a vaginal birth.
Pain on a scale from 1 to 10.
When I didn't have my epidural, I'd say that was probably like a 7. 6 or 7. It was pretty bad. And then while I was pushing, it was bad. I want to say an 8 or a 9. I want to say a 9. It was bad. It was really bad. And I always hate when people ask you your pain tolerance because you're like, well, 10 is dying. Obviously, I don't know what 10 is.
Yeah, it's like
I don't
you
know.
can't. I feel like you can never say 10 just because
no.
it's like.
But it was bad. It hurt really bad. Okay. Why did you have him so early? It was due to my blood pressure. How much did he weigh? He weighed 6 pounds even. And then he was 19 inches long. And he was born.
Little guy.
Yeah, he was a little guy. He was born at 10:21. Oh, the arms. He was born at 10:21 p.m. Okay, probably TMI, but did you tear? I feel like this is always a question people ask. But yes, I did. I had a little first degree tear. And honestly, I don't know where it was. It did not bother me. That's one thing. Healing has been awesome. Like, I literally have not been in any pain.
Like you haven't had like anything like besides yeah.
Like I'm like bleeding, which is totally normal, but like I feel great. I feel 20 million times better than I did 9 months pregnant. Like I feel really good, and I don't even know where I tore.
But didn't get to 9 months.
But I didn't get to 9 months? No, I did. Because aren't you technically 10 months pregnant?
Well.
Okay, whatever. At the end of my pregnancy.
You were 36 weeks.
Yeah.
37 weeks, basically.
Okay. But yeah, I don't even know where it happened. I probably should have asked him where it happened, but I know I just got like a couple stitches. But I feel great. Like honestly, 3 days after I wasn't sore and I felt awesome.
I guess you were 9 months. I don't know.
He's gonna get a little noogie for that one later. Oh! Talk about how you felt.
What do you mean?
Just like, I guess just tell me how amazing I am.
So all the things I said before.
No, tell me how I don't know.
No?
Was it like weird seeing me in pain? Was it weird like seeing me literally push out a baby? Or like what?
Yeah, like it was definitely like it was. So like when I came back from getting all of our stuff and seeing her in pain, it just is like I felt really bad because it's like there's nothing I could do to help her.
Yeah.
And it's not like talking. She wants to sit and talk or anything, so it's kind of like you're sitting there helplessly. So it just like felt bad during that. Like definitely wouldn't have brought the putting mat out during that moment. But then it was interesting. Like while she's pushing, like I would just catch moments of her, and it's like I don't know, kind of just gaining like more of her respect and like. I don't know. It's cool to see her and like how capable she was to give birth, and I don't know. It's just cool.
So I'm amazing, is what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting teary-eyed?
No.
You are. One thing I will say about Topher, you guys, he has seriously been the best dad to Brooks. I'm not kidding. I knew he was going to be a good dad, but I told him the other day, like, he has exceeded, like, all my expectations.
She had super low expectations.
I had very low, no. But seriously, he's been so amazing, and it's been so fun to, like, just, like, figure this out together, because it's a ride. I feel like you don't know what you're doing, and you're exhausted, and I feel like we've been really good about just, like, being patient with each other and figuring it out together. And I know we've had our moments, but I feel like it's been super good.
Super fun.
And Brooks has been.
We're gonna have
the
7
best.
more of them.
Oh, that's what I have to read. That's what we're gonna finish this off. So Topher, while we were at the hospital, I was writing down things he would say to me. I need to make a TikTok after.
I didn't even know she was doing this.
He had no idea, but I was just like, he was saying the funniest, craziest things, and I was like, I'm going to write these down because he will deny that he ever said these. Okay, so he said, I wish we had twins. He said, I want another baby. And then he told me my body looked good, and that made me feel very good. And then he said, I want to change his diaper. And that was incredible. And then he said, to finish it off, I want 7 kids. You guys, I'm here to tell you that we will not have 7 kids. But we will have more kids because he turned out so freaking cute. And I've just like never, like, I really love Topher.
I love Brooks way more.
But I love Brooks more than you. It's the craziest thing. You just have so much love for these little humans, and they are so perfect. And it's just been so fun.
So fun.
But yeah, did I answer it all? Did I do a good job? I think I got all of them.
You nailed it.
I think I nailed it. Okay, I think that's enough. This is a really long video. But you guys, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed that video. It was fun to sit down and relive our birth, huh? I love you so much. Okay, well, thanks for watching, you guys. Bye.